Hello, my name is Jenni, and this is the very first episode of finglishknits, a knitting podcast by a Finnish knitter in Scotland. I live just outside of Edinburgh with my partner and our dog Isla, and I've been knitting for a long time. I learned in school, like many other Finnish people do, but I only really picked it up again in high school. And since then, I've been knitting more or less regularly up until, now. I only really kind of took a deep dive into garment knitting during the pandemic. So in that sense, I'm much like a lot of other knitters who found knitting and the online knitting community during the pandemic. I've never really looked back since, and yeah, here I am. I really enjoy watching knitting podcasts, and I've been wanting to start my own for a while, but I've been too scared. But hopefully this one will be the one that actually makes it online. There's been a couple that haven't, but I'm confident that this one's gonna be the one that actually makes it. So yeah, I really enjoy the kind of standard format of a knitting podcast. Finished objects, works in progress, and then plans, acquisitions, other things. So we're going to follow a similar format today. I'm going to start with a couple of my latest finished objects, and then talk about some of my most active works in progress. I'm very much like a 15 projects on the go kind of person, so I'll just talk about a couple that I'm like actively working on, and then I'm also going to talk about a couple of projects that are going to be frogged and what's going to happen to those. So yeah, I'm gonna take a sip of my tea before we get going. Right. So to start with, my latest finished object. I hope that I can show this properly. So this beautiful shawl is the Sizzle Pop Shawl by Leslie Ann Robinson, or Knit Graffiti, I think she's online. It's a 2-color brioche shawl with this beautiful kind of leaf-like stitch pattern. This is the back. I full-on just copied the kind of colour combo, or rather maybe not copied since it's not the same yarn, but I was heavily influenced by don't remember what her actual name is, but she's Knit You Up on Instagram. She had a beautiful sizzle pop that I've been, I saw that and I was like, that's what I want. So I went looking for some yarn that would work, and this was the finished object. So the yarns that I used were Madeline Tosh Merino Light in the colour Ink for the navy, and then the contrast colour, the light turquoise, is just a merino single ply from Chandler's, which is a kind of homeware / yarn shop in North Berwick, which is just down the coast from Edinburgh. Highly recommend a visit to North Berwick if you're ever up this way. It's a lovely seaside town, has a beautiful beach and lots of cute cafes and shops. So yeah, this took me a while. This was a kind of I was working on a lot of like stockinette projects and things, and I wanted something that just made me excited. So I was working on this kind of on and off between test knits and things for a few months. But all in all, I think it didn't take me too long. It felt like it progressed quite quickly, and it was quite easy to learn the pattern off by heart. So yeah, really recommend it. I find brioche, especially 2-color brioche, like really just makes sense, you know, just like my brain's like, yes, perfect, this is it. So yeah, I just, all I want to do is no brioche, but I want other things as finished objects, so I'm not always knitting brioche. But yeah, that's everything about that. I did actually do a modification, which is that the pattern tells you, I think, how many times to do a repeat until you bind off, but I wanted to use up the 2 full skeins to as much as I could, so I just continued until I thought I had enough to bind off, and I think I had 2 grams of one colour and maybe 4 grams of the other left at the end of it. I think that's just due to like skein weight discrepancies rather than like using one colour more than the other maybe. But yeah, I'm really pleased. It's I'm like a blanket scarf wearer, so I like a big shawl. So yeah, really happy with that. I might put a picture up so you can see the like whole thing somewhere here, maybe. Yeah. Oh, an important thing that you're supposed to do, I think. What I'm wearing. This is a very old project, so nothing new, but I thought I would tell you what it is. This is the Trescow sweater by Along Avec Anna. It's quite heavily modified, I'll say that. This was the first long-sleeved sweater that I finished in 2020, I think, and yeah, I didn't do the garter ribbings. I just did twisted rib because I like the way that it looks. I didn't do gauge swatch because I'm me. But I like the way it fits. It's a bit looser than intended, but I like the gauge and I just like everything about it. The yarn that I used is Sublime Extra Fine Merino DK, I think. It's worn really well, I must say. Like, it has a little bit of pilling that you might be able to see, but like it's really minimal, and I wear this all the time. I think I've depilled this maybe twice in the whole time that I've had it, and for the first like maybe 2 years I basically wore it like minimum 3 days a week, if not like up to 6. So it's got a lot of wear out of it, and it has had a lot of, you know, food stains and stuff from when I've been cooking, and like you know, splattering tomato sauce on it, and it's, you know, it's done very well. It cleans nicely, it's super washed, so this is like my cozy home sweater, but it looks quite nice as well, I think. Yeah, anyway, back to actual finished objects, recent ones after that tangent. I have a Lento, if you can call it that. So this is knit with well, I started with the Lento sweater instructions. I think I chose the largest, not the largest, maybe I chose like a larger size than I would normally go for. I was knitting on 3.25mm needles, I think, just using DK weight yarn. I just kept doing increases until I was happy, and then I picked up some sleeve some stitches from under the sleeves, from I cannot speak. I picked up some stitches for the underarms. Yeah, as you can see, it doesn't look like Lento much in terms of, like, you know, I picked up I chose the number of stitches I cast on, and then I just, you know, went my own way. which is what I tend to do a lot. So I knit this using Novita Woollywood, which is 70% Tencel and 30% merino. It's really comfortable. I wanted like a summer top essentially. And then I only finished it in September, as you do. I did this picot edge on the arms. I basically just didn't decrease, so it has kind of wide-ish sleeves. Yeah, I really like the way that it looks. I think it's quite cute. And then it's very cropped, which I tend to prefer. I wear a lot of high-waisted trousers and skirts, and yeah, most of my sweaters tend to be quite cropped. I'm also very short. I'm 159 centimeters or 5'2", something like that. And I have a very, very short waist, so you know, I wear lots of very, very cropped things. But yeah, I'm really pleased with it. I've done a few lentos, like, well, I've done a lot of lentos, but most of them tend to be not according to the actual pattern. In fact, I think all of them are. I've modified something in every one that I've done, and this is the fourth one that I've cast on, so but more about one of those later. Yeah, that's all my finished objects for now. I'm gonna have another sip of tea before we go on to works in progress. Right. Works in progress. Things in my bags. Now, as I said, I'm like a 15 projects on a go kind of person. So there's a couple of these. I'm not going to talk about all of them, not at all, but I tend to have a lot of things on the go, and then I don't finish things for ages, just because I keep working on everything a little bit, and then I finish 5 projects in a span of a week. So, but there we go. So this very small start is the beginning of my Lunar Tea, because you want to be knitting teas when the temperatures are dropping to like single digits, as you do. But yeah, so I was like almost finished with the yoke until I realized that I had, don't ask me how, managed to not do any increases on one of the sleeves. So I basically just had one sleeve and then nothing on the other side. Don't ask. Oh no, I'd done like, instead of doing increases in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I'd done increases in 6 places. So I had like one side of a sleeve didn't exist. So I had to frog. I felt very silly. I was working on it on holiday, and I think, you know, well, I say holiday, I was on dance camp, and I was sleeping about like 4 hours a night, and I was like, I just want to knit something easy, so I'll do a raglan. And then apparently I can't knit raglans when I'm really tired, especially without stitch markers, because apparently I didn't pack any, so I was like, it'll be fine. It wasn't, and I didn't realise until I was literally down to the yoke, and I was like, this doesn't look right. So yeah, so we frogged and we started again. I'm generally very happy to frog, don't mind it at all. In terms of like, if something doesn't look right, I'm very happy to frog and start again so that I can get the finished objects that I want. But when I've done something stupid and I need to frog, I hate it. It's the worst. So this is that case of that. I'm using Derarum Natura Elise in the colour Foray. Don't ask me to pronounce French names. It will not end nicely. But yeah, it's this beautiful kind of forest green with some different colour, you know, I wouldn't call it like neps, but it has some gentle variegation into it, I guess. Heathering. Yeah. I feel like it's covered in dog hair. My dog sheds a lot, so that tends to be a bit of a problem. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It's really fun, but I'm sad that I have to start again, essentially, is the gist of it. My other finished, my other work in progress, which is the kind of current big one, is a test knit. This is a test knit for Lydia Morrow, who's also goes by What Lydia Made on Instagram. This is the Jackpot Jersey. This is the back of it. I have made so many mistakes with this and had to frog. These have been very much the case of you absolute idiot kind of mistakes where I haven't been reading the pattern properly because my brain just hasn't been in it. So I've had to frog loads of times, so I'm a little bit behind. The test is due at the end of this month, and it is now the 22nd, so I have like, what, 7 days to finish? Fingers crossed, eh? Still have sleeves to do, and, you know, the back panel to finish. But despite the fact that I'm knitting it on like 2.75mm needles and it's fingering weight, it's actually working up really quickly, so yay. Wish me luck. So the yarn I'm using, for the main colour, I'm using West Yorkshire Spinners Exquisite 4-ply in the colour Burgundy, Bordeaux, maybe? Bordeaux, I think. I don't know if they actually make this specific colour anymore. I feel like they've got, at least whatever's online doesn't really look like this anymore, so maybe they've changed it. But anyway, I've had this in my stash for a while, but I thought this would be a nice project for it. And the contrast colour that I'm using is Knits Soxia in the colour Quartz. And yeah, it's just nice neutral. So this is supposed to have kind of a second contrast colour that does like a stripe on the V in duplicate stitch, and also a duplicate stitch embroidery in the same colour on this on the front panel. And for that I'm going to be using a kind of pink sparkly mini skein, which I think is going to look very cute. But more on that if I ever finish this. I mean, I will finish it eventually, but we'll see how I do in terms of the test knit deadline, because yeah, over the course of this weekend alone I have frogged about that much twice, so that's a few hours of work. Not happy. But yeah, I'm gonna share one more work in progress, because I'm working on it semi-regularly. No, not that one. You don't need to know about that one because it has been languishing for so long. But I have, so when I first started knitting, I was like socks in high school. Like that's basically all I knitted was socks and sometimes hats and things. But for about, you know, a good 6 years, I basically just knitted socks and mittens and things. So I always have a pair of socks on the go, normally multiple, but at the moment I'm working on these fun little things. So this is some Regia tweed 6-ply, and these are just like 2x2 rib and with a really long leg. I wanted ones that I can like fold over. And yeah, I've got one finished and I've started on the second one just a little bit. And yeah, it's just a nice kind of palette cleanser, mindless knit if I just want to knit but I can't dedicate any brain space. I started these when we went to see Barbenheimer in the cinema. So that's why there is a a spot there when I clearly something really exciting happened in the film and I couldn't pay attention to my ribbing, but I'm okay with that. It's fine. No one can really see it except for me, but I'm gonna be forgiving to myself on this occasion and not frog. Mostly because I'd basically finished the entire leg over the course of like the 2 movies, and I only really realised when I came out of the cinema that there was a mistake really far in, and I was like, no, we're not doing anything about it. It's just going to be there. Yeah. So those are all of the current works in progress that I'm going to talk about. And then I thought I would share some projects that did not go to plan and that I'm going to frog, and also share what I'm going to do with the yarn afterwards, or if I'm going to do that project again, changing something. So the first one is another Lento. So this one I started with the same size as I would normally do, but with 3.25mm needles and just some light DK yarn. This is in Border Mill alpaca silk tweed, which is merino silk and alpaca. I absolutely love this yarn. I love everything that Border Mill does anyway, but I picked up these. They're kind of mill seconds type skeins. They're a bit thick and thin, but I just love the way that they look, and they're so soft. This worked up super quickly, and it is basically, you can tell there's already ribbing at the bottom. I've got a sleeve, and you know, just need to do the other one. But I've decided that I don't like the way that the colours are working in this order, so I'm gonna rip back to, I think I still want the beige to be the first one, so I'm gonna rip back to here maybe, or maybe just to the blue, and then reorder the rest of the colours in a way that I like. I might do, I've seen people do the kind of, I think it's Steam West, where you hold like, where you wrap yarn around like a piece of cardboard or something, and like the order that you think you want them, and then you can see if you like that order. So I might try that. I have like a Excel spreadsheet where I've done like color combinations, because that's how I like to work. So I have an idea of like what the color combo that I want to do is, but I'm not 100% sure yet. But yeah, almost ready. Gonna frog and restart exactly the same, just with different color combination. The fit of this, as it is perfect. Is exactly what I want. I'll put a picture up here to show you what it looks like at the moment. But yeah, so Lento is normally like super oversized, and this is basically like a fitted raglan in just a way that I like. So essentially everything else is perfect except for the order of the colors. I think I said before, I'm very happy to frog if they're like, if things are not looking the way that I want the finished object to look. So prime example right here. I really don't like having projects in my wardrobe that I'm not happy to wear, and I'm quite picky about colors especially. So if I think I'm not going to wear it, it gets frogged just immediately. Right, next one. So I have like a bag of these at the floor, so I will keep diving in. So the next one is another project in West Yorkshire Spinners Exquisite 4-ply. This time the colour Knightsbridge, maybe? Anyway, it's this beautiful kind of teal. And this project is, the pattern that I was using is, oh god, I've completely forgot, UNELMA by Mayhem Handmade. She's a Finnish designer, and this was a test knit that I did, which I sadly did not finish, as you can tell. Now, I am definitely going to start this project again. I definitely want to make this pattern. I think it's beautiful. However, during the test knit, this didn't work out for me. One, because the size that I chose / what the designer recommended for me was just too big. I've got quite a small frame at the top, I guess, but I'm quite busty, so because I chose this based on my full bust, it's basically way too big on my waist and at the top as well. The kind of, rather than the sleeves starting here, they start like here, and also the neck is just way too wide for me, so I'm going to go size down, and I will possibly also knit it on the exquisite 4-ply hold single rather than double. So this is another reason why I also didn't love this quite as much, is that this is worked on really small needles for considering SDK. The gauge is 26 stitches per 10 centimeters. So I had to knit this on 2.75mm needles, which is just way too tiny for me for this thickness combo. It does, you can tell it has a lot of kind of structure to it, but I think if I do this again, I might do single and see how that goes. But the designer was really, really nice about the fact that I couldn't finish. At that point, I just, there wasn't enough time in the test knit for me to start again, especially because the fit just wasn't right, so I would have had to do some figuring out. But she worked with other test knitters and also took into account my feedback that I provided to rework the pattern a little bit, and she kindly shared that with me, so I'll definitely redo this pattern. I think it's beautiful and I'm really excited about it. I'll put a picture here of what the finished object will look like. I think she's currently also running a knit along for it, if you fancy it. It's gorgeous. Just didn't work out on this occasion. I do find that sometimes the kind of what the designers suggest for my size is very rarely the size that I actually end up choosing, just because I tend to choose sizes based on my upper bust rather than my full bust to get the kind of fit that I like. Otherwise things tend to be a bit too big. Right, final thing before we finish off is, so this is Calm Down Cardi by Lily Kate France. This is another test knit. As you can see, I had very unlucky test knits. I actually was working on both of these at the same time, which is even more annoying. So I was working on 2 test knits and both of them just failed spectacularly. So this is, I'm going to start with saying that this pattern is absolutely beautiful. It's perfect. There's nothing wrong with it. If you want an oversized grandpa cardi, this is the one to go for. The detailing is amazing. It's so well thought out, and I would 100% knit this again. But problem number 1, the yarn I chose. This is not this is Tukuball Hakama DK, which is Finnish yarn, which is quite scratchy. It's very you can tell that there's a lot of lanolin in it. I have washed it, which made it look better, but it still maintained some of the issues that I have problems with. So the main problem being the fact that it has absolutely massively big armholes, just ridiculously big for me. So my armpit is here, and this is where the sleeve is. It's genuinely that much. Yeah, that just doesn't work for me. So I basically look like I'm wearing a woolen sack, which I think if that's the vibe that you want, great. It's not my vibe, and yeah, the original sample doesn't look quite as oversized on the designer, but I think she's quite petite and small, and she's not very busty. So I think on me, what happens, it just looks like kind of like a tent, and I'm very short as well. So like the size of the cardigan, like the length of it, it's also kind of, it looks like a coat, but yeah, it just looks like a sack. So I definitely want to knit this again. However, I want to knit it with a softer wool that has a bit more drape, maybe like a nice wool alpaca blend or something. And also I'm gonna knit it with like maybe size 1 sleeves, because I'm not a huge fan of like really oversized sleeves. They just don't, it's not my thing, which I didn't really realize that it had when I was looking at the pictures. But yeah, very oversized sleeves on this one, which is not my thing, so I would knit it with size 1 sleeves, I think, and go with that. But yes, otherwise I do love it, and I love this yarn. It's just not the right project for it. I think I'll probably want to do another cardigan in it, but maybe something that like will benefit like from the fact that it's quite structured. So we'll have a think. But yes, I do fully recommend this pattern. It's really well written and really well thought out. It's just stylistically, the finished object just doesn't fit my wardrobe in the way that I want it. So we're frogging it and starting again, despite the fact that it's almost finished. But you know, that's just what happens. So we're gonna go with that. So that's all of the projects that I want to talk about today. I went to the Glasgow School of Yarn yesterday, which is a yarn festival held in, surprise, Glasgow. I picked up a few skeins of yarn that I wanted to share with you. They're all single skeins, which I told myself I wouldn't get, but here we are. So I got these 4 beauties, which I just wanted to show you. I got this from Zakami. This is just DK Merino. I got this to hold together with this to make a yarn, to make a hat or a cowl maybe. I've got a few projects, or rather patterns, that I've been wanting to do that need 2 DK weight skeins. So I've had this in my stash, the brown one, when I wanted something to go with it. So I thought that was quite cute. Second one that I got is this beautiful golden skein from Rainbow Heirloom, who are also a Edinburgh based dyer, just like Zakami. And I got that to go with this. I wanted to make a colourwork hat with these two, and I think they'll go beautifully together. So yeah, so another DK weight skein. And then these two, which were unintentional purchases. This is Ripples Craft Arcadia DK, which is apparently a kind of, they gather kind of leftovers at the mill and spin them together, so it's kind of more sustainable. I think it feels really nice, and I just love the colour. So it's also very soft, surprisingly. I kind of always think that kind of semi-recycled materials are more well, less soft, but yeah, this is really nice. I think it's beautiful. And then I got this. This is Hairstains Shetland DK from Lamb and Mule Wool. It's just the most beautiful colour. I got some of their Shetland 4-ply at the Scottish Wool Producers Showcase in March, and when I saw that they had dyed wool this time, I just had to get this. I was kind of like walking around and having a look at things, and then at the end of the festival there was only one skein left. I just kind of saw it across the room and went, oh, I need it. So yeah, That's why this came with me. We'll see what I make of it. I might hold it together with the 4-ply, just hold the 4-ply double. That's kind of natural grey. I think this would go quite nicely with it, but yeah, we'll see. Very happy about this. Anyway, that's it. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope that wasn't too rambly. I hope to see you again next time. Yeah, thank you.